These are 50 Jeopardy geography questions. Question number 1. It's the largest kingdom in the United Kingdom. Answer there, England. Next question. Large Aboriginal populations live in this country's states of Queensland and New South Wales. And that country is Australia. Next question. Administrative units in this country include Giza, Aswan, and Suez. And that country is Egypt. This longest river on the Iberian Peninsula is also known as the Tahoe. And that river on the Iberian Peninsula is the Tagus. It's a narrow passage that separates Canada's Ellesmere Island from this large Danish island. Answer there, that large Danish island would be Greenland. Mount Logan, Canada's highest peak, is found in this territory. That territory is the Yukon Territory. Of the top 5 Canadian cities in population, it's the one closest to the Pacific Ocean. That city is Vancouver. Appropriately, New Glasgow is in this Canadian province. That Canadian province is Nova Scotia. Arabs call this Libyan capital Tarabulus. And that capital of Libya is Tripoli. In addition to its bountiful wildlife, this desert is the site of the Orapa diamond mine, one of the world's largest. And that desert is the Kalahari Desert. This country is named after the town of Oporto. That country is Portugal. The Sea of Galilee is just a broad basin of this river. That would be the River Jordan. The surface of this lake in Siberia is about 1,490 feet above sea level, the bottom over 5,300 feet below. That lake is Lake Baikal. Papua New Guinea is just off this country's Cape York Peninsula. And that country is Australia. One of the 2 Central American countries with only one sea coast. And it could have accepted Belize or El Salvador. Both are correct. Instead of counties, this state has boroughs. Or is it boroughs? That answer, Alaska. This state capital is located on the Merrimack River about 15 miles north of Manchester. That state capital, Concord. Of Hawaii's 8 main islands, this one receives the lion's share of the tourist dollars. And that Hawaiian island is Oahu. When the Russians owned Alaska, they referred to this tall peak as Bolshaya Gora. That tall peak is Mount McKinley. This river begins in Colorado and empties into the Gulf of Mexico near Brownsville, Texas. And that river is the Rio Grande. Florida's panhandle borders these 2 states. Those two states, Alabama and Georgia. Located at the mouth of the Demerara River, it's the capital and largest city of Guyana. That capital and largest city of Guyana is Georgetown. Known as the Father of Waters, this river drains an area of approximately 1,247,000 square miles. That river is the Mississippi. The westernmost and northernmost points in the United States are both located in this state. That state is Alaska. The Bluegrass region, an area of gently rolling pastures, covers the north-central part of this state. That state is Kentucky. Lake Pontchartrain and St. Bernard's Parish form part of this city's northern and southern boundaries. That city is New Orleans. This state's largest county, San Bernardino, was divided in 1893 to form Riverside County. That state would be California. Leadville in the Rockies in this state is the USA's highest incorporated city. That state would be Colorado. At about 1,700 square miles, this saline lake in the United States is one of the largest lakes in the world with no outlet. That lake is the Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake. Nome, Alaska lies on this peninsula named for a 19th century Secretary of State. That peninsula is the Seward Peninsula. Abingdon, Windsor, Gravesend, and Southend-on-Sea are on this European river. That European river is the Thames. The highest airport in the world is Lhasa Airport in this country. That country is Tibet. Antelope Island in this Utah lake is used as a refuge for bison. And that Utah lake, again, is the Great Salt Lake. Albuquerque, New Mexico lies on this 1,885-mile-long river. And that river is the Rio Grande, again. From its incorporation in 1813 until 1901, this New York village was known as Sing Sing. That New York village is Ossining or Ossining. A smaller canal connecting to this river brings fresh water to the Suez Canal. And that river is the Nile. Many things in Hong Kong are named for this queen, including the mountain peak on Hong Kong Island. And that queen is Queen Victoria. Lake Avernus in Campania in this country was believed by the ancients to be the entrance to Hades. And that country is Italy. The western portion of the Baltic island of Usedom belongs to Germany, the eastern to this country. And that country would be Poland. The U.S. borders these three oceans. Those three oceans are the Arctic, Atlantic, and Pacific. There's a national park on the island of St. John in this U.S. possession. That would be on the U.S. Virgin Islands. North Dakota has its Devil's Lake, and Wyoming its Devil's one of these. That would be Devil's Tower, a tower. The Raritan is the longest river wholly within this state. That state would be New Jersey. It's the colorful body of water between Korea and Shanghai. That colorful body of water would be the Yellow Sea. This branch of the Nile used to flood due to seasonal rainfall in Lake Tana. That branch of the Nile is the Blue Nile. Large ships can sail over 100 miles inland to Washington, D.C. on this river. And that river is the Potomac. In 1833, this wholly northwestern Ohio port arose from the consolidation of Port Lawrence and Vistula villages. That holy port is Toledo. Holy Toledo. Lying on the east bank of the Nile, Tahrir Square is the center of this capital's downtown. And that capital is Cairo. This Algerian port's old city is dominated by the Kasbah. That Algerian port is Algiers.